I'm Ian Dille.
And I am Michael Sheehan. We are in Wevelgem, Belgium, where we just saw the women and men finish Dwars, Vlaanderen.
Now, the women's race was a UCI 1.1, about 100 kilometers long, and the men's race was a World Tour event, 184 kilometers long. Let's start with the women's race. Unfortunately, FloBikes did not have the broadcast rights to this event, but you can go watch it for free on Facebook, the Proximus Sports page. Exciting race. I recommend everyone checking it out, and it's really setting the stage for Flanders.
Yeah, so we saw a pretty substantial large group roll with basically every pre-race favorite, and most of these riders are also favorites for Flanders, so it was really just a race of proof of who is on form for Flanders. Up the road, we had defending champion Ellen van Dijk, Cassia Nieuwedoma, Elena Ticini. Who else? It was everyone.
Elisa Longo-Borghini, Marta Bastianelli. It was like a 10-strong group of all the race favorites.
And we can't forget Annemiek van Vleuten.
Of course, Annemiek van Vleuten. On incredible form, and yeah, it was Ellen van Dijk with an attack in the closing kilometers, riding away with this race, and I think really bodes well for this new Trek Segafredo women's team heading into the classics. A really strong team with Elisa Longo-Borghini, Ruth Winder, the American right there, and Ellen van Dijk, also the defending champion, winning the #1 on her back as she crossed the line for the second year in a row.
Yeah. While Ellen van Dijk was winning, the remaining favorites in the chasing group were really having a super aggressive time. They were attacking, but everybody was just pretty much neutralizing themselves out. It was the European champion, Marta Bastianelli, who did win the sprint for second place, followed by cyclocross star Lucinda Brandt, who will be the team leader for Sunweb at Tour of Flanders.
Yeah, looking at this race, we can definitely expect an exciting all-out Women's Tour of Flanders. We will be back later this week with a full preview show of the men's and women's Tour of Flanders. Let's go ahead and get into the men's race, because I don't want to give away the winner, but it was one heck of an exciting race. I think it played into sort of the stage that's being set. What we're talking with riders about for the Tour of Flanders is that the way to beat Deceuninck Quickstep is to make these races hard early.
Yeah, and let's just talk about who opened this race up. First things first, there was a breakaway early in the race with a lot of World Tour representation. You know, this is a little bit out of the norm. Usually a lot of pro-continental teams will get the pass to go up in the breakaway. World Tour teams were very interested in it today, but it was with about 70 kilometers to go that Mathieu van der Poel just turned the race upside down.
Yeah, and not only did Mathieu van der Poel attack, and everybody was scrambling to get his wheel, including Deceuninck Quickstep's Kasper Asgreen, but I'm super impressed that he brought a teammate along with him. I think this speaks really well to his pro-continental Corendon Circus team really rallying around him, keeping him out of the wind, putting him in good position, and when he attacks, they're right there also ready to cover any counter moves and even go with him and help him get up the road.
It was Mathieu van der Poel's teammate Dries de Bont who was able to follow him up the road, along with Deceuninck Quickstep's Kasper Asgreen and Anthony Turgis of Direct Energy. This was the group that went after the breakaway of the day, and when they got there, the field was really in a scramble because Mathieu van der Poel was pretty much dispatching of every rider other than himself, and it was the strongest rider in the world, Bob Jungels, who was able to break clear of the peloton in this madness.
Yeah, finally there was some heads-up riding from the competitors of Bob Jungels. Tish Benoot got his wheel, went up the road with him, and we saw, you know, a super exciting front group, a finale between Jungels, van der Poel, Turgis, and Benoot. Unfortunately, van der Poel's teammate de Bont suffered a mechanical in the closing kilometers, but this did not seem to stop Mathieu van der Poel. Let's get into how this sprint played out, because it was wacky.
Yeah, so when I call Bob Jungels quite frequently the strongest man in the world, I say that because if you let him go, he's not coming back. However, like Ian said, Tish Benoot was wise to his trickery, and from this point on, Bob Jungels was trying to attack because he is very, very strong, but he is not the quickest man in the world. And he really did not, by his own admission, didn't have a shot in the sprint with the riders that he was with. So Bob Jungels, he was attacking. He could not get away. Mathieu van der Poel was just equal to him every step of the way. And I do have to give a serious tip of the hat to Lucas Postelberger of Bora Hansgrohe. He was the only rider from the original break who was able to stick with these fresh legs all the way to the finish.
Yeah, but Turgis, this sprint that he launched was just textbook, kind of coming from the back of the group, giving himself a couple bike lengths to ramp up and catching everyone off guard. Unfortunately, Van der Poel was just too strong, got on his wheel, seemingly came around with ease. We saw Turgis slamming his bar as he crossed the line, and I can only feel sorry for him that he is now part of the club of getting beat by Mathieu van der Poel.
I think there are going to be a lot more people entering this club soon. There was really only one thing missing from the finish.
What was that?
A confetti cannon.
I heard Mathieu van der Poel is not that into confetti cannons.
I like the confetti cannon. I think that between Stybar and Wout van Aert and Mathieu van der Poel, I think road racing needs a confetti cannon at the finish now. Whatever the case, cannot wait to see how this all plays out in Flanders on Sunday.
Yeah, Mathieu van der Poel with his first World Tour victory. We saw him riding a wheelie on his way to the press conference just a few minutes ago. Style, panache, and obviously insane form heading into Flanders. I think he is going to be, if not a favorite, or if not a favorite, maybe the favorite.
Yeah, we are going to be giving you our list of favorites and dark horses for Flanders. Of course, we will feature the men's and women's race. Both races are streaming live and on demand on FloBikes, and we will come back to you with a preview show for Tour of Flanders as well.
See you soon.